Time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catalfamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Countywide. I'm your host, Philip Catalfamo. I'd like to thank you for joining me. On today's show, we are talking Prescott Long Riders, and my guests in studio today, to my right in the purple long sleeve is President Michael Tickle, and to his right is Vice President Jessica Pulido. Thank you both for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Well, as we know, you've probably seen the Prescott Riders around if you've been down Whiskey Row or to some of the events that they hold throughout the Prescott area. But let's start off with this. How did the Prescott Long Riders get started?
It's a long history question. It occurred about 11, 12 years ago. It was an idea that was brought up, and I've embellished this story over the years. But it starts off basically, two cowboys were sitting down in one of the bars on Whiskey Row during one of the parades going through downtown Prescott, and they basically said, "Hey, we're kind of tired of all these diesel trucks and the smell of diesel fuel, and it'd be nice to bring back, some of the old history. And you think we can, bring all-horse parade into downtown Prescott?" And so that's how it got started. And then about 5 years later, we took it to the next level, and we started our first trail ride and our first parade through downtown Prescott.
And that's a perfect place to have like an old-fashioned parade is downtown Prescott. Yeah. I mentioned this with Glenn Hasselfeld on Tuesday. He was our guest. And just the history of Prescott. It's like a preserved town. Yep. There's obviously the saloon there that's right. Still kind of set up in the old saloon style, And as you guys know, you go down Whiskey Row, and it's almost perfect to have all those horses go through and go through Whiskey Row and sort of takes you back to the 1800s or even the early 1900s.
Well, Whiskey Row years ago, back in the 1880s, it was all bars.
Yeah.
Literally from Goodwin all the way to Gurley Street.
It definitely lives up to its name. It makes a lot of sense, Whiskey Row. Yep. A lot of bars down there. But more specifically, how did you two get involved with the Prescott Long Riders?
Well, I've always been involved with it for the last 6 years. Last year, the first 5 years we were under the Prescott Regulators. Mm-hmm. So we were the Prescott Regulator Long Riders because they adopted, Western Heritage Days, and so they brought me on because they knew we wanted to do an all-horse parade. So they gave us that opportunity to do it. So we sat underneath the Prescott Regulators for the first 5 years. On the 6th year, they offered to us to help us set up a nonprofit 501c3. So that's how we started the Prescott Long Riders. And so then we put our group together, our board group together, and so we brought on, had a position for the VP, for the treasurer, for the secretary. And so that's how Jessica and I got involved.
Yep, my husband was actually part of the 2019 ride.
Okay.
And my husband went on a couple rides. Mike rescued my daughter out of the water when her horse bucked her into the water.
Oh, wow.
That was my fault.
Jumped on him. And then they came over to help my daughter learn flags, riding with the flags. And we met for the first time, and I told him anytime he needed help, because I am a military mom, we need to support them. And I said, I will help you however I can. And I landed the VP role, and I love every moment of it. I'm the strict one.
She's an asset to this organization.
Okay.
And so we also got her involved with the rodeo.
Yep.
With the grand entry. Us old guys about 5-6 years ago were asked by the rodeo if we would help them do the grand entry. And so there's about 30 of us. And so introduced Jessica and her daughter. And so her daughter rode in the grand entry last year.
Very cool.
At the rodeo.
Yeah. How exciting.
It was neat. It was neat because last year in 2020 she actually got to carry the Marine flag for her brother.
Oh, okay.
And it was beautiful. it was beautiful.
And there's photos in the.
There are, yes, and we do have a few photos to bring up as well to sort of talk about and give you a picture as to what we're speaking of. Obviously, you see we got some pictures from the 2019 ride right here to my right. But you mentioned, obviously, Jessica, you are a part of a military family.
I am.
You're a military mom, to be more specifically. I should say, please pass along a thank you for your service to your son. It's incredibly honorable to serve our country, and he's got a lot more chutzpah than I do, I'll tell you that.
Well,
but more specifically, you guys are involved with a lot of veteran affairs here in Yavapai County, and Prescott more specifically. Yeah. So what is sort of that connection with the Long Riders in the military and Native American as well?
Yeah. You want to start?
When it comes to it, we're not just connected with the veterans. We support all our military. Since my daughter went into the Army, because I'm Army Marines, I have a rapport with our recruiting station as well, and they're lifesavers. I love them. And it allows us to show our support to the newcomers, to the veterans. This year now we get to do Native Americans, which is really near and dear to my heart because I'm Native American myself. So it's neat to see us reach out to the Navajos who dearly need this help.
Yep.
And all the programs that the VA offers, and it just... You have to have a reason. When you're a 501(c), you have to have your reason to do what you're doing. And it's a great way to support our natives.
We do have some photos up on the screen there. Maybe you guys can sort of fill in the blanks. We've got a couple photos of some rides there, and the one in the center there, they're standing in front of a building.
That's the VA.
That is the VA. Okay,
yep.
So they've got some Prescott Long Riders standing in front of the VA, and some beautiful shots of the horses there on the bottom right.
Yeah, their rear ends. Yeah. But when we go, it's an interesting story how we got involved with the VA through the Prescott Long Riders. We ride behind the VA every year, and their marketing director, Mary Dillinger, has seen us ride past the VA on the Peabody Trail. And so somebody who was involved with us was doing some volunteer work at the VA, so she asked who this group was. So that's how we got involved with them. So now, for the last 2 years, we go and ride through the VA. And so that center picture that was on there.
We should say it's not just a ride through the VA. The circle, all the horses will come around and stand, and then the flags will be up front.
Right.
And then this year we had a beautiful Native American that was on the picture singing our national anthem.
She was singing.
She was absolutely beautiful.
That's my fault. I have a terrible eyesight. I honestly could not see the screen.
Yeah. So it's really unique because when we go in there, we carry their flags.
Yeah. Well, you're representing them.
All of their military flags. So we come off the Peavine, we stage there, we carry the flags, we go in, all the flags line up right in front of the hospital there. And then we do the national anthem, and then Mary introduces us, and it's really neat, and we love doing it. Last year, COVID was an issue, so there was nobody on the streets. We're hoping that this year it's going to be a whole different ball game. The VA's asked us again to do it again. They want us to continue doing it. And I have military people in my family.
As do I.
I think everybody does, and for us to help, at the VA especially for the homeless veterans, because it depends on where you look it up, but they say there's anywhere from 20 to 40,000 homeless veterans in the United States.
Yeah. And
there shouldn't be. No. There should be zero.
Yes, there very much should be, and that could be an entire conversation that we could have as well as the.
That'll be our next.
Yeah, we'll have to bring you back on and talk about a lot of the. We could really get into it pretty deeply, but yes, I agree 100%. I'm really happy that you guys help out a lot of veterans. As I mentioned, I do have a good side of my family that is former military. I would assume that a lot of your members are probably current military, former military as well, and you guys do a lot for the veterans. And we'll talk about that a little bit more on the other side of this break, along with some of the events and rides that you guys have gone on and the photos that are to my right. We'll be speaking with the Prescott Long Riders on the other side of this break. Countywide will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Two things we can count on every year.
A new set of tax rules and great weather here in northern Arizona.
Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, locally owned and operated by Lewis Rice since 1997, is here for you all year long.
Your neighborhood Jackson Hewitt Tax Office will help you in all of your taxing situations.
Electronic filing is always free with your tax preparation at Jackson Hewitt Tax Service.
Get more in return. Call 1-800-234-1040 for an office near you.
The EPA says C&B Construction ranks in the top 1% nationally. C&B Construction invites you to see what energy efficiency and indoor air quality can be. We have won another Department of Energy Innovation Award, and C&B Construction is the only contractor in the country to win 6 consecutive EPA Indoor Air Plus awards. Experience our zero-energy, move-in-ready homes at Crossroads at Mingus.
C&B Construction, locally respected, nationally recognized. Find out more at candbhomes.com.
Been hearing about the crazy benefits of CBD? Find out how CBD can help you at Sedona's #1 resource, CBD Sedona. Come in for a free consultation and let our trained medical staff help you find the perfect product for you. Pain-relieving salves, full-spectrum oils, CBD skincare, bath bombs, and even CBD for your pets. Come on by CBD Sedona today.
Terrifying jobs, high-flying linemen, take 3.
Josh, this is an absolutely terrifying job. Why do you do it?
It's a very demanding job, but very rewarding and exciting.
How much energy are you actually working with up there?
500,000 volts of electricity.
It's definitely not my line of work. Does anything shock you?
Yeah, distracted drivers terrify me.
Welcome back to Countywide. I'm your host, Philip Catalfamo. On today's show, we are talking with the Prescott Long Riders, and my guest in studio today to my right in the purple shirt is Michael Tickle, the president of the Prescott Long Riders, and to his right is Vice President Jessica Pulido. We talked a little bit about how the Prescott Long Riders got started and how these two people got involved. But now, you guys brought in some photos that I think we should talk about, some of the events and some of the rides that you guys have gone on. We've got one here, blown up a little easier for all of us to talk about, and that might be a familiar face because that is Michael Tickle right there in the front holding the U.S. flag. Let's talk about this ride specifically. I know the photo we showed earlier was one from 2 years ago, or almost 2 years ago. And what's the story behind this one?
This was 3 years ago. I think this one was 3 years ago. We've done so many of them now, but when we stage for the parade, we stage at Yavapai College. That's where we end up off the Peavine Trail. And so everybody gets, we have specific riders that carry flags, and we have serapes, which are horse banners that go over the back end of the horse. This is the section where we're turning on to Pleasant Street. So we come down Pleasant Street over, through Sheldon onto Willis and then down to Cortez. And I think this ride we had about 50 plus riders with us.
Wow.
And it's kind of cool being up front.
Yeah, I bet so. You're holding Old Glory. You're right in front of leading the pack in your sweet turquoise shirts. I love the color of those shirts.
Once in 5 years, I finally got to be up front.
And you will be there for the rest of this ride.
So should we switch the board and look at the photo behind it? And we got one more here that's kind of blown up on the screen. They're stuck together. There we go. I don't want to damage them. But this is down Whiskey Row.
This is on Gurley Street.
Oh, Gurley Street.
We're just about ready to make our left turn onto Whiskey Row.
Yeah, same thing. You just everybody wearing the flags, or everybody got the shirt. You mentioned, you can see on the screen there that they're all wearing the same colored shirt.
Yep.
But a little different now. You got the president or the leader of the group wearing a different shirt. Why is that?
We have the board members of the trail bosses. So last year we did 2 different color shirts.
Okay.
And because in the past we've had a few issues with people, not knowing who they could get a hold of if there was an issue on the ride.
Right.
So we're now doing 2 different color shirts. So the board members and the trail bosses are getting to wear our own color.
Yeah.
And but the neat thing about the shirts is that the reason why the riders come back, they love them.
Yeah, I was going to say, you were talking about that.
Yeah, and they collect them. You can see them out wearing them all over the place.
Yeah.
And so they become very, very popular. And probably just like my closet, their closet has them all lined up in all different colors. And so every year we do in a different color. And we print our sponsors on them. So just to give you an idea, like last year in 2020, we had over 40 sponsors.
So that shirt's covered. It's like a NASCAR jacket almost at that point.
Yeah, that's what we call them now. Yeah, race car shirts.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, no, that's and funny when you came in, I thought you were wearing a jacket because you get the vest and the thicker sleeves of that long sleeve, but. I can see Jessica, you were telling me before the show there were some people, they were coming out of town or coming back into town and they were fighting you guys just to get a shirt again.
We actually had a couple. We had a gentleman from Phoenix, and then we had a husband and wife from Blue Ridge that couldn't make it due to issues that they had, and they wanted those shirts. They made sure they were on us until we finally mailed them out, and they're representing us. We're talking.
They kept calling me.
Arizona. We're talking all around Arizona.
But you have to think of all the when we first started this ride, 6 years ago. Everybody was local to the I'm going to say the Tri-City area or the Quad City area. Last year, with 100 riders, we're pulling people from California. Mm-hmm. We're pulling people from New Mexico.
Pulling people from Southern Arizona.
From from Benson.
Are these people coming from those areas to be a part of the events?
In the ride,
wow.
Yes. Yes.
Yep. So we get people from just about every city down in the valley. Glendale, Queen Creek, Gilbert.
That's Mesa. A big net to cast.
It's so neat to see the different. It's a very diverse ride. We've had Asian, we've had Hispanics. The Hispanics are my favorite because they bring their dancing horses that they put on a display, and it's beautiful. We've had, I think she was from the Ukraine.
Oh, wow.
And it's very diverse. These riders are all over the board, and they get along, and it's so beautiful. They all have one thing in common, and that's they love horses.
Right. Are there other organizations similar to this? Because I'm trying to do the math as to how, obviously you guys are based in Prescott. You do a lot of events in Prescott. And people are coming from southern Arizona, which is like the Tucson area. Then you got people coming from the Maricopa County, obviously. And then somebody from the Ukraine. Are there similar organizations like this, or are they just kind of going, what are some people who have similar interest groups, or maybe they just meet people along the way who know about the organization?
There's riding groups out there.
Okay.
But nothing on this caliber.
Okay. Yeah, our ride is a little bit different. But like I said, there are a lot of ride groups out there, and they're not necessarily as organized as we are. They're not nonprofits. But like I said, this is a very unique ride, and people have the opportunity to ride on the Peavine Trail, go through the Dells. People love the Dells. We are the only ride group in the entire state, probably in the entire country, that gets to go through the Indian Reservation.
Oh, right.
So they give us permission to do that. And this year was a big honor to us because we had 2 tribal people riding with us, and they gave us permission to carry their flag.
Wow.
Which it's hard. It's hard to get the flag, but we've done it with them for so many years that last year they go, yeah, fantastic. Are you going to do this next year? Yeah, you can have it next year. So
yeah.
It's really cool, and then you go downtown. You do an all-horse parade. So it's a trail ride, it's a parade, and which is rare. There's not a lot of groups that do that, especially in the state of Arizona.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it seems like you guys cast such a large net that it would make sense for, obviously the Native American tribes that we have here to be, involved in this. They love horses as well. Jessica, you mentioned that you have a Native American background in your genetics as well. It makes sense, and what an honor to be able to ride through the Navajo Nation and to
not the Navajo.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yavapai Apache.
Yavapai Apache Nation. Excuse me. And to wave their flag. I mean, what a unifying symbol that must be.
It is. It's great to support them. It's nice that they see that we support you, and thank you for letting us do this, because it was beautiful to watch the police for the tribe to come out and shut down traffic, and he was following us all the way through because he wanted to make sure he shut the gates, and they were very kind.
Yeah.
Very kind. And then he was helping us do traffic down the parade route too. So all the cops that support us, the sheriffs, tribal, it's neat.
And we have working relationships and partnerships with the Prescott Chamber, with the City of Prescott, and also with the VA hospital.
Yeah, very cool.
So last year we grew. We started off on our own, but we grew.
Yeah.
And so it's neat to have all those people there, and especially the camaraderie.
Yes, very much so. And it looks like a lot of fun. I'm not very skilled with horses, but it would be quite fun to go check out some of the rides that you guys have and some of the events. PrescottLongRiders.com if you want to look up some more information about the organization and possibly join. We will be speaking about how you can get involved with the Prescott Long Riders if you want to be a rider or if you just want to help donate to the cause. Again, PrescottLongRiders.com. Their phone number 602-550-5629. We're going to take a break. Countywide, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Who doesn't dream of home improvements? Perhaps your kitchen, the real living room. Maybe the bathroom, where you bookend your day. Langstrand Contracting is your one-stop shop from tear down to finishing touches. With 35 years of experience, Chris and his team will work with you to match your family's style and budget. Call Langstrand Contracting today for guidance in bringing your vision to life.
Award-winning Soundbites Grill is an entertainment restaurant located in Uptown Sedona at the Hyatt Pinion Point Resort. Open for lunch and dinner, featuring fresh fish, all-natural hand-cut beef, even a full vegan menu. Family-friendly, open 11:30 to 9, late dining on Friday and Saturday. Soundbites Grill has some of the best views of the Sedona Red Rocks. Offers world-class entertainment, food, fun, and music.
Hi, this is Greg at Verde Solar Power. You know, Arizona has lots of clean, renewable sunshine, and we want to help you take advantage of it with our quality solar installations, and we offer to beat any written offer on a residential solar electric system. So bring us your electric bill and let us show you how solar power will save you money. We're located conveniently here in the Verde Valley and are dedicated to helping the valley go solar. So remember, the energy solution comes up every morning.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle, get Gettles.
Welcome back to Countywide. I'm your host, Philip Catalfamo. Today we are talking to and about the Prescott Long Riders. I am joined by President Michael Tickle, who is to my right in the purple shirt, and to the right of him is Jessica Polito, the Vice President. I have not mentioned it throughout the show, but their next event is October 2nd, or it's tentatively scheduled for October 2nd of this year at 9 a.m. Great event. You guys start out at 9 a.m., you ride down the Peavine Trail, and you end up on Goodwin Street in Prescott. So again, October 2nd is their next ride event. You can see them doing what we've seen on the photos here, going down Whiskey Row with the with their flags and wearing some pretty snazzy shirts with some great animals. And I mean, really, it's such a cool organization. You guys do a lot. They help out veterans. You guys have connections with Native Americans, supported by a lot of local businesses in Prescott. We were talking a little bit about that in the break of just the big support you guys get despite the pandemic. There's people who really believe in this organization. You guys do a lot. Let's just, for the remainder of however much time we have, which I believe is about 2 minutes, how do people get involved if they want to be a rider, if they want to volunteer, or if they just want to donate? How can people get involved with this?
Well, let's start off with the website. They can go up to the website, which is PrescottLongRiders.com. Have them go through the website. It's really nicely laid out and designed. It's easy to use. They can go in. They can sign up for the event. They can register. They can pay online. They can become a member, whether it's an individual member or a family member. They can also pay for that membership online also. We have the photos up there from last year. If they want to purchase photos, they can do that too. The ride does start October 2nd, The ride starts at 9, but we ask our riders to be there at 7 o'clock. They get breakfast.
Yes.
We go down the Peavine. We go through the Dells. We pass Watson Lake. We have lunch, which is provided, and the Western shirts are provided. It's a $60 donation. And then we travel through the tribal land. We go through the VA. We stage for our parade. We go downtown, go down Whiskey Row, and they get lunch. Dinner. They get dinner on Goodwin Street.
Very cool.
And then we end our ride basically there.
Great. Again, PrescottLongRiders.com. I'm going to say the phone number again. I know that it's a little more personal to Michael now that I know what the number is, but 602-550-5629. But go to the website. PrescottLongRiders.com is going to have a lot of information for you. It is a nice website. It's beautifully put together.
And let them know that they can make a donation too. They can go online and make a donation.
Yes. They can follow us on Facebook as well.
Yep.
Yes, follow them on Facebook or, again, PrescottLongRiders.com. 501c3. You guys are a nonprofit organization, so all the money is going where it needs to go. Michael, thank you very much for coming on. Jessica, thank you very much for coming on. You both do wonderful things with this organization, and hopefully we can get more people signed up and continue this tradition for long past all three of us are gone. So thank you both for coming in. Again, PrescottLongRiders.com if you are interested in this organization. I am Philip Catalfamo, thanking you for watching and listening. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.